Good morning. This is Lou Johnson, your host, and you're listening to Forward March Podcast. As you may have learned in episode 1, life doesn't always give us what we think we deserve. It's when we take what life gives us, good or bad, and we make something positive. Well, that's when we reach success. That's a win. I'm not the smartest and I'm not the strongest. I'm a more average than not guy who has experienced a few things that may seem extraordinary due to the origin of my family's low socioeconomic status. But that's it. We're all just somewhere in the middle, and then somehow we become great. Maybe life isn't giving you what you think you deserve, and maybe you're currently affected by a loss of income or illness in the family or something else. It's going to be all right. You're going to make it. You're going to survive. The pack is heavy. But I encourage you to lift your head up so you can breathe and see where you're going and keep your legs moving forward. It doesn't matter if it's an inch, a block, or a mile. It's forward progress. And as long as we are moving forward towards our end goal, we're winning. So keep winning. Okay, if you don't know, now you know. My name is Lou Johnson. It's actually Lewis, but I prefer Lou. I was dealt a shitty hand just like the rest of the world. I took that shit, I turned it into a high school diploma, and I took that diploma to, believe it or not, the Army recruiter. I saw that Army recruiter treat other recruits, or police, should I say, like shit. And I literally walked out of that office and I walked next door to the Marine Corps recruiting office where they treat people amazingly. Eventually, Staff Sergeant Hughes put me into the Marine Corps as an infantryman, and it was the greatest time of my life. Okay, rant over. Let's start the show. Today, I've got a guest with me. He wasn't a Marine, but he was in the Army. His name is Travis Dempsey, and I'll let him introduce himself.
My broski Lou said, my name's Travis Dempsey. Military background, grew up in rural Midwest. I joined the military at age 17, right around the year 2000, pre-9/11. 9/11 kicked off, got to do some cool combat shit. Started my career out as a puddle pirate in the Navy. Transferred over to the Army Infantry. Just kept riding out the deployments. Got to do some time with Rangers, Pathfinder, Airborne Air Assault, some other cool guy stuff. And 15 years later, it was a blast. So that's kind of my background with the military as far as that goes. I mean, Let me stop you really fast. So you're saying that you were in the Navy and then you transitioned into the Army. How did that work? Yeah, so I started out in the Navy right around the time that the surge was going to kick off for Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom. They opened up a program called Blue to Green. So anybody in the Navy could cross over to the Army, and they would basically swear you out of the Navy under the condition that you immediately enlist right into the Army. So you're literally out of the military for minutes.
They swore you out of the Army?
Out of the Navy.
Or excuse me, they swore you out of the Navy?
Yeah.
Like what kind of words were they using?
Like, you're an idiot, you're shit, why do you want to leave the ship and go get shot?
Yeah.
Jody's gonna hit up your girl.
Nice.
You know, all kinds of stuff. I remember the ship pulled in and the commander escorted me to the end of the pier where there was an Army recruiter waiting.
Nice.
And he was basically like, take this fucking idiot.
Nice. He literally gave his son away.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was pissed.
Nice. Just go away quiet.
Yeah, man. I mean, I figured if I'm going to be deployed in the shit and be getting shot at, I might as well be trained and be able to carry a gun.
Yeah.
You know?
So the whole time you're in the Navy, you're on ground because I believe you were in Iraq also, right? You had a couple deployments there.
Correct. So I did the battle. I did the Battle of Fallujah with 1st Mardiv Marines. That's my first actual combat patch. Is the Guadalcanal.
Wow.
That I got to rock. And so, yeah, I was there with the Marines and into her.
So you get out of the Navy, you go into the Army.
I get sworn into the Army, yeah, and I'm a prior service guy. I've already got a couple deployments.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm cool. I get to a little place called Fort Benning, a place where dreams go to die.
Nice.
Get to Fort Benning. They're like, hey, we're going to throw you in at like week 5 or 6. You'll just do like the last couple weeks of basic and then you'll start the infantry. Well, little did I know that infantry is, because you're a fellow grunt, it's all fucking rolled into one. It's basic training and shit all in one.
Yeah.
Week 0, day 1. So they threw me right into the beginning. I had to get my head shaved again and shit and start all over.
Just let me backtrack really fast because you said you got out of the Navy, you went to the infantry, you're at Benning. That's all good. On your prior deployments, you worked with Marines.
Yeah.
Man, we had the best uniform ever.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be a Marine?
So I definitely thought about it, but the way the Blue to Green worked, it was a program specifically designed for people to get out of the Navy and go Army to help with the troop surge for Afghanistan. So since the Marines is technically considered Department of the Navy, I couldn't get out of the Navy and go Marine. My only option was stay in the Navy and ride it out, which I think I'd signed up for like a fucking 6-year contract without even realizing.
God, you're stupid.
Or go Army. So I just was like, fuck it, I'll go infantry and let it ride. And best decision I ever made in my life for sure.
That's awesome. So what unit did you get sent to out of your A school?
Out of A school, I got sent to 4th ID out of Fort Carson, Colorado. Basically came out of AIT, I got to the unit, I had like a month to like get my house, get settled, and then we rolled right into a workout, man. They were transitioning from a light infantry unit to a mechanized infantry unit. Newsflash, there's no tanks in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So that was all a waste of time.
Yeah.
So then we pretty much they all had to be retrained on how to be light infantry because they were all doing mechanized
stuff. Yeah, the Russians tried that and it didn't work out well. So
let's ask Putin how the fucking tanks worked over there.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, not good at all.
Yeah, man. So 4th ID was where I was at. That deployment we went to Kandahar and did RC South. Yeah, that was a good one.
Nice. And you got the best tan you've ever had in your life.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Summertime in Afghanistan, if you're unaware, is just a sweet treat.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It's amazing. So,
I'm glad to be here, brother, and I'm proud of you for getting it going. It's a great message, and there's no better way to help other people than help through your own trials and tribulations.
So that's the basis of the show. This particular episode is titled Make New Friends and Keep the Old-ish.
Ish. I like the
ish. Because there's sometimes you got to cut sling load, man.
Ish is always a great term to use for anything. Like I'll try to meet you around 3-ish.
3-ish. Yeah, that was the time. That was
Maybe
the time act today.
Tomorrow-ish.
Ish. Yeah. Because you know what? I might change my mind. I'm a moody motherfucker. Or keep the old ish.
And I can definitely relate to that, man, especially, like, I'll apologize for it one time and then I won't go back to it. But when I'm relating things, as you will, because that's a major part of our life, which there's nothing to be ashamed about with that. But, once you graduate basic training and you go to your AIT, which for us, it's all one thing. So, and then you go home on that first leave and you see your buddies that, just 14 weeks ago, they were your best friends. And you couldn't live life without communicating with these people. That was like 14 short weeks ago, or 18 or whatever, give or take, depending on the branch. And then you come back home after leave and you go hang out with these guys and you're looking at them like, motherfucker, we are not the same.
Yeah.
It's like you already think you're better than them.
Yeah.
Like, bro, your jokes aren't funny. And like, you're a douche.
Yeah.
You're already like, I don't think we can be friends anymore, bro, because we're not on the same level. It's like you've already gained that mentality of seeing the world for what it is and trying to, experience diversity and culture and all these things, and your friends are still trying to do shit that was funny in high school, which, was funny to you 14 weeks ago or whatever. And now all of a sudden it's not. So it's like I can really relate to the keep the old-ish, because it's really hard to keep your friends after you decide to go to the military, let alone do a deployment. Do a deployment and come home.
And then come home.
Try to go have a beer with John that works at, Blockbuster or whatever, and you've known him for 12 years.
Wow, you're really aging us both.
Right.
I appreciate it if you stop.
Bro, I had a Blockbuster.
Yeah, bro, I still got a Blockbuster card. I used to rent
Goldeneye on a Saturday, play that shit.
Oh, yeah.
N64. Man with the golden gun, bro.
Bro, man.
That 12-pack of Mountain Dew was life. Right. But so come back from a deployment and go hang out with this guy who knows your sister and your parents and he knows your whole family. Yeah. And you're just sitting there staring at him with just disgust. Like, but how was I ever friends with you, bro. It's like the world adapted and changed, and I've adapted with it, and you're just still there.
I just want to have an operational pause for a second, because that's not even the feeling of being better than someone. That's evolution, right?
Right.
You've grown as the world has grown. And you've grown because you've experienced real life things. And you're a river, there's still water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, if you're going to be a shallow puddle, you're not going to go anywhere. You're never going to see the ocean. You know, I know that's pretty fucking deep shit. But you're never going to see the ocean. The river eventually will get there.
Right.
And, you know, it's imagine a river next to a still puddle, man. That puddle, it's pathetic. And that's not to put people down for their inaction. Hey, I'll tell you right now, I went to boot camp August 4th of 1997. I was forever changed as a Marine. Those 13 weeks changed me. I'm so blessed that it did. And let me tell you something. Some of those friends who I was so anxious to get home and go see, guess what? They're still doing today the same stupid shit they were doing on October 31st, Halloween. I graduated in 97. And they're still doing the same stupid shit today that they were doing the day I went home from graduation. And
what's funny is when you went home from graduation, you probably felt closer to the guy you met in your platoon that you've known for 2 months than your buddies that you had for 6-7 years.
Yeah, my rack mate, come on, bro. I know what the birthmark on his butt looks like. Why? Because he and 78 other guys, we were A to B, asshole to belly button, taking PT showers for 3 months.
Not the butt, make your battle.
Hey, man, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
Don't do it.
And you got to think Mickey Mantle, Carney Lansford, baseball. Don't get a shower boner. That's a bad place to do it.
It took me 3 days in basic training
to get a shower boner,
to have enough balls to take my first shit.
Oh, wow.
Because the toilets, you know, there's no walls, nothing. It's just a toilet next to a toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're sitting there taking a shit, if the guy next to you is a bigger dude, your knees are touching, like your legs are.
It's a prison deuce, bro.
The first 2 days, I barely ate because I was afraid if I ate, I'd have to shit. And I remember taking the first one, I got up on fire guard and went at night, praying nobody'd be in there. And there was another poor bastard in there who just gave me the look like, me too, man. Me too. We sat like opposite sides. And I just remember thinking, oh, I'm not alone.
It's okay, buddy. You know? I got you.
He just had that fear in his eye, like, me too.
It's those moments where you go, you know what? It won't be weird if we hold hands right now.
Like, bro, battle shits.
This is a...
Go. Go.
This is a very comforting moment. Also, don't ever tell me that again. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah. So, speaking of making new friends, you and I, we've been friends for less than a year.
Correct, yeah.
So why don't you tell our listeners how we became basically like ebony and ivory overnight, the keys to a piano. How'd this happen?
So before I moved down here, I already had a buddy named Spencer who I knew in Florida when we used to live there. He moved down here for work. He was kind of already my in when we came here to Austin. When I came down here, he bought this cool guy. You know, civilians are all about... I don't mean to offend anybody, but sometimes we use the term gear queer, not to reference anything more than what it is. But civilians like to do that, buy all the cool guy gear and talk about how they could have joined. But anyway, he bought this really cool, expensive backpack that was actually a fucking rucksack, but he wouldn't know that. And he pretty much talked me into, like, we should go hiking and, you know, we can bring our dogs and whatever. You should buy this ruck. So I get on the website and find out it's guys like you and me, you know, Rangers, SF, all these people making cool guy stuff. And so I bought the pack, and then he invited me to join some group on Facebook, and I don't even remember for the life of me now what it was called, something about rucking in Austin. And it also liked to go out and ruck. He had me join that group, and I just remember posting, like, hey, this is what I bought. And I gave the specs of, like, the pack I bought, what size weight I bought. You know, this is what I bought. I want to start training. What's up? Like, who wants to start training, and what do you guys recommend I do? Because obviously, being prior grunts, I don't really know how to go about training in that regard. I just do what I'm told. If the platoon sergeant says, hey, today we're doing a 26-mile ruck, you just put my shit on and I'm walking 12 miles or 2 miles or whatever it is. So I never had to sit there and devise a training schedule for rucking, you know?
Grab water and
you just
some
fill
socks.
Your Camelback and go to the armory and get your load out and go. Nobody was giving me any useful information at all. One guy just posted 28-mile ruck that was happening like 4 months later in Austin, and he's like, train for this. And it's like, well, no shit. First of all, the difference between you and me is I can probably get up off the couch and just go do that event, training for it. I'll suck at it, but I'll do it. So basically, nobody was giving me any responses, and then I just remember I got a random message on Facebook from you, and you were like, hey, since everybody's dicking around, not giving you a legit answers. I'm looking for a training partner. Here's my training schedule. Without even knowing me, you sent me like a 7-page spreadsheet of your entire training breakdown. Like every day you're available, what we're doing, when we're having meal breaks, like the whole nine. And I'm thinking, dude, this guy's ready to go.
Let's do it.
So I remember I messaged you back and I was like, let's get it. And so we met at Brushy Creek, I remember. I had no idea what to expect.
Was it Brushy Creek? I think we met at Turkey Creek Trail.
No, we met at Turkey Creek Trail.
Yeah, because I think the first one, remember?
We had no idea what to expect of each other at all. We show up, we were farting around through the woods. We found some like fucking cougar tracks or fucking something or other. I remember that. Those tracks were fairly fresh.
They were fresh, dude.
And we were like, fuck this. Turn on your Bluetooth speaker for some music.
Yeah.
Let's make some noise and fucking make haste.
Yeah.
I think we only ended up doing 5-6 miles. I went home and showered after that, and we met at Cover 3, I think.
Yep.
And I pounded like 8 beers.
8 beers. And I felt so bad because I was like, it's all good. This one's on me. And then he's like, fuck yeah, it is.
I just kept drinking, I remember. And then, from that point on, man, we kept training. It seemed like we rucked every other day and gymmed every other day. And
I left my gym to come to your gym because we were training for the Star Course in Dallas, the 50-miler. And I don't know how many months in the training we were, and I tore my Achilles trying to be high speed.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that ceased. And
then we both started school like a week after. After you tore that, we both started school a week later. Training just became really hard to do. But now we're back in it.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Now we're back at it. Got a 26-miler here.
Is that only 26? I thought it was longer.
I think it's only 26.
That's good.
It's 26.
Yeah, that's in April, and then we're still kind of deciding on if we're going to do the Star Course. I'm doing the Star Course. I don't have a partner. If you're listening and you're going to do the Star Course in Washington, D.C., I believe it's in June or May. I have to look. Hey, hit me up at forwardmarchpodcast.com or forwardmarchpodcast@gmail.com. Let's get a team together.
Do it. I mean, I want to. It all depends on what happens with fertility, but I'm down. I want to do a Star Course.
Yeah. Whoa. Don't just pass over that, player. Fertility. Are you trying to get pregnant, sir?
Yeah, I'm trying to have somebody knock me out.
You trying to get some of that?
I want a bun in the oven.
Trying to get to that PX in the sky?
Mm-hmm.
Well played.
She had me at TRICARE.
Dependopotamus life is the life for me.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan of being a dependopotamus. Let them make all the money. Sit back and collect that VA pay, bro.
Hey, bro. Girl, you get out there. You go be a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
I'm on take the trash out.
Laundry, I got you.
I see you when you get home. I fold your underwear in a triangle.
Baby, I'm so proud of you. How did you get all this laundry done and clean the house? Oh, it only took about 8 beers.
8 beers, 2 Adderall, and I turned the volume down on Price is Right.
And I did play Call of Duty for 2 hours.
Like 2 hours, like maybe 2.5.
It's not bad life, man.
That's super good. So you guys are trying to get pregnant, so you guys can get a little baby.
Yep, we're on the fertility train, which is fucking brutal. But what can you do, man? It's like we say, Ford Mars. All we can do is keep pushing along and hope it eventually works. Eventually, it's got to take. So we got round 3 coming up Saturday in 2 days. So we shall see.
Well, you know me. I love you, man. I love your wife, Erica, bro. I'm constantly praying for everybody. I'm especially asking for extra prayer for you guys for this to be a successful take because I know it doesn't get easier. No. Not only that, but every time I hang out with you and your wife and she's like, I can't drink. I'm like, oh, this is going to be rough. I'm kidding. Okay, so yeah.
I tell her at least I can drink enough for both down.
It's literally your civic duty.
I want to. I have to.
You have to. I took an oath.
Yeah, I have to do what's right.
Let's just bounce back really fast. Like, Sean, I know that you're a disabled veteran, as am I, as are so many, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of us out there.
Got to spend a lovely 2 hours at the VA today, which is ridiculous. They're like, please be 15 minutes early to your appointment. I'm like, for what?
Like, how about I just show up at 8:50?
I've seen this. This is like rolling into a McDonald's drive-thru. Don't try to order a shake. It's broken.
Right. Yeah, the VA is terrible.
Which is kind of ridiculous because you would think that because we're a country that's been at war for so long that they would have figured it out now.
The country is so desensitized to vets now that we're just considered, well, look, honey, there's another disabled vet. If it's so normal, then why isn't the VA function like a normal hospital then?
Right. As it should.
Know what I mean?
As it should.
It's ridiculous that it doesn't. I keep hearing the same shit. Well, in some places it does because I live in Boston or wherever. My VA is awesome, you know, but this VA, it's like, well, they should all be on the same page. It's run by the same agents. Like, I can understand if you want to say, hey, this hospital in LA is great, you know, if you got money, but this hospital in Nebraska sucks. Well, that's fine. They don't work on the same wavelength. The VA is run by the same people, whether we're in Nebraska or LA, you know? I don't understand it, man.
You know what my belief on that is that we don't train as a country. We don't have an education system that sets young people up to be successful in the medical field. We don't push people to want to be doctors. Because can you imagine schools like NYU? NYU just recently did this. They said, hey, if you are a future medical student or a current medical student, medical school is free. It's on us. You know why? Because we have all these horrible diseases like cancer. There's some kid out there who can't afford to go to medical school and is an absolute genius, but can't afford to go to medical school. So that kid, what's that kid doing? Man, I got to play sports so I can get out of the hood. I got to be a rapper so I can get out of the hood.
Right.
Oh, I'm 15, 16. I can't get out of the hood. I'm just going to kick it here and I'm going to sell drugs, or I'm going to join a gang so I can be accepted and not get beat up or bullied. Right? If we unfucked the way our education system is, and by the way, I hate to say it, but Betsy DeVos ain't gonna be the one to do it.
Separate fucking
that's a whole. That's gonna be like episode like 109.
That's a whole separate.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
If we train people for what our country needs, come on, man. The VA is backed up like it is because they don't have enough doctors to handle the amount of disabled vets that are running through their pipeline.
I've been there before doing my claims and stuff, and there's guys that are still getting their claims fulfilled from Vietnam. Now, granted, I know that they didn't have the resources back then, so a lot of them weren't able to file for stuff, and now they are. So some people are just now getting to it, but there's still no excuse for that. If I go in tomorrow and file a brand new claim along with a Vietnam guy, he 1,000,000% should get all his shit taken care of before they ever address me. How am I sitting here at 100% disability? And there's bastards from Vietnam that are still jumping through all these hoops and Circus Act to get taken care of. I mean, that's just, it's fucking disgrace.
And science and research has proven, basically, if you were ever in Vietnam, guess what? Likelihood that you got some Agent Orange or Agent Orange related illness.
Right.
At the very least.
And I've seen a couple people with that. It is gnarly, man.
I don't care if you were in the rear with the gear in Vietnam. You got something.
Yeah, no, it's gnarly. I've seen it. It makes people with like COPD and stuff look like fucking nothing. It's crazy.
I was in the Austin outpatient clinic today, and I waited a wonderful, man, it's amazing, a wonderful 2 hours to get my prescription filled. There was a Vietnam vet in front of me, an Army dog, and they had this guy rated at 10%. He's in Vietnam. Look, man, I get ringing in my ears so bad that it ceases forward movement, right? It's so loud sometimes because, hey, man, there are no earplugs on the range when you're out at CAX or NTC. Sometimes you don't put earplugs in. No one's telling you to say, hey, we're getting on the helos. Don't forget to put your earplugs in, right? So my hearing is shit.
If you're like, hey, Sarge, I forgot my ear pro, they're like, well, good job, dumbass. Have fun hearing the rest of the day, fuckface. Lane 5. It's not like they give you training timeout. Oh, little Timmy forgot his ear.
Getting a stick because the Osprey's coming.
Yeah.
So
sorry for you, bud.
Sucks to suck.
Embrace the suck.
That's a 10% disability on its base level. You're in Vietnam and you're fighting to get more than 10%. Man, come on, dude. We're doing something. We are failing.
The problem with the disability claim, which I didn't realize until I filed, is so you're meeting with somebody from the VA to establish a claim. But when you file it and it gets sent off, it's being reviewed by a lawyer. And these lawyers work for the VA. And their sole purpose is to find loopholes in your shit so they can be like, nope. And then they can go get a fat bonus at the end of the year when they tell the VA, I saved you $1.2 million by rejecting all this shit. And it's like, wrong. You're fucking wrong. This little kid that you're stamping to save money on fucking went and fought a war that you pretend doesn't exist so you can sit in your suit, get a blowjob from your mistress on your desk, go golf by noon, and you're proud that you're saving money. It's like, it shouldn't be. Some things are about money. The VA should never be about money.
Should not be about money. Literally, you're putting people's lives in
right. If you're a CEO of Apple or something and you're proud that you saved your company millions of dollars, okay, that's cool.
Good on
you. The VA is not about that. It's not about stats and saving dollars. It's about, we sent these people off to do a despicable job that nobody else wanted to fucking do except for these sorry bastards that volunteered, by the way, which doesn't make it that we don't deserve shit because we volunteered, because I hate that shit. You volunteered.
Yeah, let's pause real quick. What were you told by one of your fellow students in nursing school.
Yeah, about how it must be nice to get free college. I don't have a right to bitch about stuff because I'm going to school for free. It's like, that shit ain't fucking free.
Guess what? I literally paid for it in blood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so it's, we sent these people away to do this job, and then when they come back, the country has done, they've hired all these people to make sure they can find loopholes and cut money. No, I mean, there's loopholes to everything, man. There's going to be people that were in the military, we know them, that didn't do shit. They're going to go to the VA and play the system and get their money. And you know what? You and me know they're pieces of shit, and we can call them pieces of shit, but I still don't appreciate civilians calling them pieces because they're playing the system when they didn't do shit, but you know what? They still signed their name on the dot. So they put themselves in a position to be a piece of
where
shit.
they can be a piece of shit.
And do a loophole.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And considering the circumstances, they're actually balancing the scales.
Essentially.
Yeah.
That's really all they're doing at the end of the day is I lost some because somebody screwed me over, but little Johnny over here fucked the system.
He found it. He picked it up.
Good on you, buddy.
I dropped my pack. Johnny's like, I'll carry that bitch.
Yep.
I mean, damn, Johnny.
The VA is a twisted system, dude. And I expected it to be different here. Because before I moved to Texas, I heard that Austin's got one of the highest per capita.
Yeah.
Of retired
veterans. Yeah.
Vets and stuff. So I just really expected the VA here to just be super on top of their shit. And maybe they are. I mean, I'm still getting checked into the system here, so it's not like I'm going to write it off just yet. But I've seen nothing to be like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm so glad I get to be a fucking patient here.
Now, I will say this. While the Austin outpatient clinic, or I haven't been up to the Cedar Park clinic, may not be the best, I'll tell you right now, Texas, the state of Texas, God's land, the last free state. Let's take just a moment to breathe that in. That's nice. The last free state, Texas, which could lead its own country. We're good. Look, I came here just like 90% of the rest of the population from California. Let me tell you, I'm never going back. Yeah.
I came from Florida, and me and my wife were just talking about this the other day. Like, she's floated the possibility of like whether or not we like it here because she likes to move every so often when she gets bored. I fucking love it here, man.
Yeah.
I have no desire to leave Texas. It's like if my spirit animal was a state,
it'd be Texas. Yeah, it would have a Lone Star brand on it. I don't know.
Welcome. Here's a bottle of whiskey and a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
Welcome to Texas. And you're like, love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you.
And all the way, you don't have to wait for a 10-day hold on that 6-shooter either. You can actually leave with it. Would you like us to put it in the box? Nah, I'm going to put it right on my hip.
No, actually, I'm just going to carry it because you guys have made that awesome too. So thank you.
Listen, I have too many guns to go back to California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I, within like a 3-week span, I mean, and I know I'm getting way off topic, don't give a fuck. I bought 2 guns. I bought a 1911 A1 45. I walked in. I was like, man, I really like that gun. He's like, oh, the 1911, would you like to see it? Yeah, let's see it. Oh, yeah, it's really beautiful. It's used. It's actually here on consignment, but the prior owner put Trijicon sights, night sights on it. I picked that damn thing up, man. I've never owned a 45 ever. I've always been like a Glock guy, so Glock 22, right? When I was with Oakland PD, carried Glock 22, had a little bit of separation anxiety, bought a Glock 22 again. I got my little baby here, my Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm, because I like the high round magazine capacity.
To buy one of those.
Bro, it's a great buy. It's a great buy. Easy to maintain.
It's a value buy.
Yeah.
Value buy.
Yeah. So it's unfair that gun is so cheap. This 1911, I'm like, man, I want it. He's like, awesome. I just need to see your Texas driver's license, and we'll run your background and just go meet us at the register. And I felt like I was breaking the law.
You're like, that's when you look at him, you're like, motherfucker, is this hot? Is this going?
I mean,
it's stupid easy here.
The thought crossed my mind. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, just go over. We're just going to run your background. It'll take like 20, 25 minutes. Just go wait at the register, and we'll meet you there with the gun. Yeah. Would you like ammo and a holster for it?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And I was just like flabbergasted, dude. Mm-hmm. Especially coming from California, where they're so anti-gun, and I don't know why. But anyways, that's a whole other topic. But I walked out with that gun. I had a box of 25, right? It came with 2 magazines, right? 7 rounds each. Bro, I loaded those mags in my truck. I put that IWB holster on. I put that gun on, and I was like, God bless Texas.
And you're on your way out the door. You're like, oh,
and you know what?
Next?
I was like, I'm going grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bake a fucking cheesecake.
Texas is great, man. I love the state of Texas, dude.
So my point being, while that was a very long-winded way about saying it, is Texas takes care of its veterans like no other state.
1,000,000%. A million percent they do.
Yeah.
They're very veteran-friendly in this state. I don't think I've shopped anywhere here yet that doesn't have a military discount. I always hate asking, do you have military? Because I always feel like there's going to be that one dickhead behind me that's like,
oh my God.
It's usually my wife that's like, babe, ask if they have military discount. And then I'll be like, probably don't have military discount, but I'll ask. They'll be like, absolutely we do. Thank you for your service. Hey, Bill, we got a vet over here. Come over here.
Let's sing a song. Happy, happy vet, happy, happy vet.
It's crazy.
You're like, what?
It's crazy. It's crazy how much it is here. It's. Those are my knees coming into the show, by the way.
Yeah, bro. Welcome. Man, you should get some sun, bro. Those knees make Jagger be proud. Hey, real quick though. I've been to places where they didn't do a military discount, but come on, man, let's face it. You and I, the way we walk, the way we carry ourselves, the way we position ourselves in restaurants, in stores, I'm constantly in a semi-fighting stance. I'm never standing with my feet on the same line. I'm in a freaking L of some sort, right, with my feet, and I'm scanning, and I'm also assessing, who's coming into the room. People know. Right. This dude was either a cop, or he was military, or in my case, he was both.
Right.
I've had people go, hey, man, thanks for your service. And I'm like, shit. He's like, you look like a guy who's in the military.
Remember that lady when we were rucking last week? The little old lady that just came back from
stopped,
Greece?
Yeah, when we were doing the 10-miler at Lady Bird.
Yeah.
She stopped us twice to thank us.
She's like, you guys are big. Did you serve?
She's like, I just did a marathon in Greece, and I was so afraid there was going to be terrorist attack, but every corner there was a cop with a big gun, and I felt good, and I was like, get it, Mom. And then she found us again because she passed us at light speed.
That lady was getting
she had a shirt on that said, where we're going, we don't need roads. Yeah, and it was just like a DeLorean.
Yeah, she was getting it.
Bro, she was going Back to the Future, bro. I think she did like 85. And then she found us again near the end, like the last 2 miles, and she's like, no, it was when we were on the bridge on the water side.
Yeah.
She stopped us again and she was asking us more questions. And I was like, damn. I was like, she's appreciative AF.
Yeah, dude, that lady was like, you guys are big.
Yeah.
Did you, sir?
Yeah.
Most people don't just come up to me and say that, I can assume, especially in like college, because most college kids they're kids, And then I walk in there 6'3", covered in tattoos, big old beard, and they're just like, that you're in school right now for nursing, right? You lost, dude.
Hey, bro, imagine me. I'm at St. Edward's, Austin, right? I'm one of like 5 black dudes, right?
It's like being black at Hogwarts, bro.
Bruh. They're like, when's this guy gonna die? How long is this movie?
Right.
Look, man.
It's usually the opening credits.
Yeah, they're like, we're in scene 4 and Jerome is still alive. The fuck is going on? Like, oh, don't worry. He dies at the end of scene 6. It's a love scene. Fuck Jerome. Jerome be stealing all the girls. That silky ass hair and his light ass skin looking like Al B. Shore. Hitting them high notes like Drake. Damn, he's a falsetto? All right, cool. I'm getting way off topic. Anyways, yeah, so I'm at St. Ed's. I'm in silkies, bro. Yeah. I'm letting the legs out. Why?
Skies out, thighs out.
Skies out, thighs out, baby. Also, I like my tan to be nice and tight by the groin. Nice and tight. So, of course...
Civilians are extremely fucking intimidated by the silkies.
By the silkies.
For those of you that don't know silkies... Ranger panties, silkies.
Yeah, silkies and Marines. Come on, man. This is uniform of the day, bro.
Right.
PT
but
on your own.
You see those, and they're just like, unless you're a 19-year-old kid on scholarship for the track team, you're not supposed to be fucking. They don't know what they are. And the fact that we just freely wear them, they're just like, you are fucking deranged.
They're like, I can literally see the silhouette of your penis, and I'm like, thank you.
You're like, you're welcome.
Arby's, we got the meat.
That's a freedom boner. You're welcome.
And you're welcome. You know what? If you look real close, there's an eagle at the tip.
Right.
Yeah. Oh.
If you want to feed him, he thrives off bacon, whiskey, and sarcasm.
Also, take your hat off or cover your heart with your hand when you see him. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I'm in silkies all the time. And since I got so many silkies for Christmas, guess what? It's going to be a silky-ass spring semester, man.
When we stop by Rogue, I need to get a couple more pair, actually.
Yeah, I think I got like 7 pairs. So
we need to just take a day trip down there.
Yeah, let's do that because they got to.
We should do it on Saturday.
If you guys are not familiar with Rogue American Apparel, you're wrong.
Yeah, they're on Hudson Bend here in Austin. Great organization. Wes runs it. He's a former Marine.
Yeah, he's
former
a Marine.
Your type.
Wait. What do you mean, my type?
Semper Fi and all that good
stuff.
stuff.
Okay,
you know
all
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm half you by a combat patch, but you know,
hey,
it's
whatever,
different.
bro, whatever.
But yeah, it's a great place, man. Great vibe, coffee, liquor. You can get your workout on.
Go get your haircut.
Get your haircut.
Yeah.
You can buy some awesome T-shirts that are mildly offensive and hilarious and great. There's a good chance you go down there to work out, you run into Tim Kennedy. He's down there all the fucking time.
And he's got the silkiest hair ever. And speaking of thighs, bruh, his legs, I mean...
You're going to be wearing Ranger pants around.
I mean...
Be ready.
I'll probably get put in a rear naked choke, which, Tim, please do it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to touch his legs if I ever see him out. Because, man, them legs, I just need that energy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone has really good luck. You're like, what's your secret? I don't know. I'm Domino. I'm just really lucky. I'm like, bro, just rub some off on me.
He only lost, what, one or two fights UFC.
And did he really lose? I feel like maybe he was just being extra charitable.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's a monster, though.
Dude.
He's a straight beast. But yeah, Rogue Americans. I love that spot here. Just another great reason of how Texas is with vets, man. I think American Trigger Pullers is out of Texas, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got all cool shit.
Well, you know why? Because Texas actually enables people to be free. To be free with their ideas.
Yeah.
To be free with their... they make it really easy for you to create.
Yep.
And especially here in Austin, I mean, come on, man. It's entrepreneur's paradise. And you're going to have to work for it. It's going to be good for you.
Yeah, they're all about diversity down here. Keep Austin weird.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're about diversity, but they're on the business level, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
They're about diversity depending on how you use the word.
Yeah, depending on how you use the word, because I don't mind being like one of the only black dudes out here because, you know, that man Dingo, you know, I'm like a commodity. So like...
You're like a delicacy?
They're like, hey, baby girl, what you got here is 100% Alabama black snake. They're like, what? Oh my gosh, too buku. I'm like, look, man, it's my wallet. I carry it in my front pocket. I don't like to get pickpocketed. And she's like, oh, okay. Then I can rub your shoulders. I'm like, shit. Just trying to get a damn massage. Massage envy. Jesus.
It's like the Germany of the States.
I'll tell you right now, just a quick sidebar. I've been to 16 countries. And every country I've ever been to, they love black people. They're just like, oh, chocolate. I don't know why. Maybe it's because like they're just interested. I was in Japan, what was that, like 2013 for my birthday. And I know it was a long time ago. I'm dating myself. I had just gone through divorce and I was like, I need to go find peace. It's cherry blossom season. I'm going to Japan. And I got to Japan, and everywhere I went, motherfuckers wanted to take selfies with me. Yeah. Turns out, I'm black, and they thought I was a rapper.
Oh my God, they thought you were like Future or something?
Bro, they thought, no, I'm not talking to be Future, and I don't own enough hats. No, they thought I was fucking 50 Cent.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 50. Oh my God.
Jackson,
50. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you can find me in the club. I'm like, let me get some sushi for free.
You should have rocked that shit and seen what you could have gotten into for free and shit.
Bruh, I was getting into all the sushi bars for free because I love to eat.
They thought you were fucking 50 Cent.
Bruh, everywhere. 50. Or Kobe, because I'm taller than
Kobe, you're way too fucking big to be Kobe.
Yeah,
bro.
well, not only that, I'm only 6'1 3/4, 6'2 if I'm,
But you're like jacked, and Kobe's like a fucking beanpole.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to like a Japanese person, like in country. I'm 8 feet taller than everybody there. They're like, man, that dude's like 7'12". I'm like, bro, I'm 6'1". Everyone's like, oh my God, can you slam dunk? I'm like, no, I can't slam dunk. I don't know if you heard my story, but I'm a pretty white black dude. I can't even jump. Okay, I'm the anti-Woody Harrelson of white men can't jump.
You pull off 50 Cent much better than
I
Kobe,
do.
Bro.
Yeah, I do.
Much better.
I agree, and I appreciate that compliment. It's awfully generous. You did all this time in the military. You're in school now. You recently just did a whole background because you're going to be working with the Special Olympics as a coach.
Yeah.
Which is super, super sweet, man. How charitable is that, man? And I mean, look, dude, I'm like stroking your back, rubbing your feet. People need to know, man. It's like veterans, we want things to do and we love to help people. We are selfless in our service and we want to do those things. And sometimes, just like the show, we're looking to make ourselves better so that we can help other people who are less fortunate, or so that we can help other people who don't have a role model or a mentor.
Exactly, man. That's kind of what I thought about. I thought, when you think of a lot of combat vets, we were all underdogs too at one point. I was never the fastest, never the strongest, never the best at any school I ever went to, including Ranger School. And, I just needed a positive role model in my corner. I needed a mentor, a champion, a chariot, somebody to be like, hey, I got you, and you fucking got this in yourself. And so I thought about it, and, it'd just be great to be in that environment around special needs kids and kids with disabilities to just let them know, like, hey, don't worry about what the outside world thinks about you. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. Like, you got this. You're going to be the best at it. And I just think it'll be a really positive environment to be around, and just to be able to help them and let them know that, they can step outside their comfort zone, because the world can be a cruel place, So it'd just be nice to be there and be like a voice for them, just to kind of let them know that, I've been there, similar, not in the same capacity, but similarly, where people counted us out too,
That's funny how much, and if not for the show, we probably wouldn't be talking about such a topic, because when would we,
Right.
But what I'm saying is how similar our upbringing was, yours and mine, being on two different sides of the country, because I was the poor black kid that wore his older brother's clothes. By the way, my older brother is 9 years older than me, so everything was big. And also, I usually had a black eye or a lump on my head because I stole the pants that he wore the night before, because I knew that he wouldn't be looking for them, because I had pants that were too short because I had to share clothes with my little brother, who was half my size. So once I hit that growth spurt, it was done. So I got picked on for that. I had a horrible haircut. My haircut was somewhere between Theo Huxtable in 88 and both members of Kid and Play. So my freshman year of high school, I'm in the yearbook every other year. I don't know if I'm in it. I try my best to avoid taking pictures because I look like shite all the time. So I was the underdog as well. And I joined the JROTC at Highlands High School in North Highlands, California, right? So now I'm part of an even nerdier group, the Junior Rejects on the campus. Yeah, but you know what? Gift and a curse, right? Got picked on in high school by everyone else until I got big, until my junior. Then in my senior year, motherfuckers stopped picking on me. They're like, damn, that motherfucker got big.
Right.
And it's not like I was in the gym. I'm just like one of them super genetic Negroes. And so I'm just naturally kind of big. Then people stopped picking on me. But what that did, what JROTC did, was it gave me a way out. It gave me at least a look through the window, right? So it's like you're in a part of town that you've never been in before, and you're seeing Nordstrom, when before all you ever saw was Marshalls, Woolworths, right? Woolworths back in the day was the shit. But Woolworths today, garbage, out of business, right? You're like, damn, this is Nordstrom? What's this? Can I get some of this? And they're like, yeah, you can get some of this, but you have to leave the place you're in because all they got in your hood is Woolworths and Walmart. Walmart's not bad, but in comparison, not great. And probably a bad comparison to make. But in any case, you get the point.
Right.
I got to see what was out there, and I got to see that there were other opportunities. And man, I took that shit, I ran with it. I was like, yep, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do something. And it's not going to be here. And I barely graduated high school. The only boy out of 5 to graduate because I was the only one who didn't join the gang.
Which is awesome. So you decided you didn't want to be a product of your environment.
And that's a whole other thing, right? Now, science. And when I say science, I say the field of psychology, right? We do all these studies every year. We have some of the best and brightest psychologists, working with the other best and brightest from other countries, and they're teaming up, and they're deciding on human behavior and how it's developed from an infant or a newborn to an infant to a toddler to an adolescent, preteen, young adult, whatever. And, they say environment plays a lot with behavior, and it decides a lot about how people are going to turn out. Hey man, this country, not to get too deep, but we look at childhood, I'm talking like preteen test scores to decide how many prisons we're going to build, That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We go, hey, go to the districts and these impoverished neighborhoods and see what their test scores are like. Because if they're at this level or below, we're going to build prisons. If they're at this level or higher, we're going to build colleges. Man, that's a shitty... Man, that's doing a disservice to our fellow Americans, period. But that's how we are. Because why? Locking people up, it's profitable, man, But in any case, we're both underdogs.
Yeah.
And guess what? Started from the bottom, now we're here. We're good.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of vets are like that. I feel like a lot of guys that join the military, especially guys that we would have associated ourselves with, like fellow grunts and stuff. I mean, we all come from different walks of life, but in a way, we were all underdogs. We were all that runt, or that little kid, or that nerd, or the kid that came from an area surrounded by drugs or poverty or whatever, and we all just decided, like, hey, fucking tactical fucking training time out. This ain't me. This isn't what I want. I'm out.
Laters.
And we all made a conscious fucking effort to get out.
And you know what?
And the military was our platform.
Now, I know it's difficult to see the forest even when the trees are right in front of you. But how great is it that through everything that you've been through and everything that I've been through, that we are here together right now. Polar opposites, but the same, right? I think the term they use is same, but different.
Right.
So we're the same, but we're different.
Yeah.
And if not for all those tragedies and all those experiences, if not for you leaving the Navy and going to the Army, I mean, come on, man. It's just the way the world works, right? It's like you do one thing and then it offsets the next move and it offsets the next move, right? I mean, I was living in Southern California. I thought I was going to be the next black movie star. I did like 19 movies in 3 years and did a bunch of music videos, as extras and whatever. And I thought I was fucking making it.
Right.
And God said, no, man, I got another plan for you. You have heart disease. Congratulations. You've been selected. And I was like, sweet. So I guess I'm not going to do anything else. My boy Jesse here in Texas, good old headhunter, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, my magnificent bastard brother said, hey, man, come on out. You're going to be in Texas. You stay at my place, cancel your hotel. I stayed at his place, man. We tailgated the last UT game. I think it was November 11th, 2018. I flew out, went to his house, washed up, went tailgating, and I was like, fuck, I love it here. I'm about to go get a place. He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to look online for an apartment. The next day, I got keys. I stayed for another day. On the 14th of November, I flew home, got my things. I was back here with all my stuff, drove 25 hours straight. On the 16th, I moved into my place. You think about all the crazy shit that had to happen to you and all the crazy shit that had to happen to me. I mean, because to get to right now. Yeah. And you know what? All it takes is one step at a time, right? Yeah. That's a song, and I feel like, man, that's really girly to say, but it's the truth. Yeah. It's one step at a time, man. One foot in front of the other.
We use the term all the time outside of the military now. I use the term all the time, Charlie Mike or Forward March, and it's true, man. It's just, when we're out rucking, like last week when we did Ladybird, and we haven't trained in a long time, and we were 10, 12 miles or whatever, what was the first thing we said when we were hurting? I was like, well, man, we just got to Charlie Mike.
Keep moving.
If I keep putting one foot in front of the other, shit's going to end.
What was it said about halfway? You're like, the quickest way back to the car is to finish.
Yep, is to just keep going.
And you know what? We hadn't trained in a long time. But having had experienced that, because, we've been out there at night rucking. We had rucked Lady Bird Johnson Lake 10 times. And maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it's 7 or 8 times. I remember the first time going out there, bro, I was looking at my phone every 5 minutes to make sure we were on the trail. Right. Not realizing, hey, dumb, follow the other 100 people out here. Right. They're all on the trail, too. Right. But in any case, we just did it, man. Yeah. And then I was like, I brought some beers there in the truck. Let's have a post-ruck beers.
Carb stack.
Yeah, take your shoes off.
Yeah, for PT too, man.
Let's drink these beers and then we'll meet up later and get something to eat,
Oh, yeah.
And that's just what it's about, and like you said, all the things that have happened to us to be right here right now because we decided to keep moving and because we both decided that despite what society expected of us, we decided we were going to be different. Right. Even though we were made fun of for being different, we still kept to our personal morals and our personal integrity. And we say, you know what? I'm getting made fun of. Maybe I'm being bullied and I'm different and I'm being called names and I'm being this and I'm being that. But you know what? I feel like this is who I am and I feel like I'm on the right path. And so I'm going to keep doing it. Fuck everybody else. I don't need you. Yep. World. Turns out I was right. Right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I was right. And that's the show. Yep. That's what it's about.
Look forward to being on here more, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, so far we're only 3 beers apiece in. I call this success. So cheers, brother.
Cheers to the first of many, I hope.
Yes, sir. Forward march.